Question comes from us. What are your thoughts on the Downtown Livonia Partnership's intentions with vacant properties, and what specific city ordinances, if any, would you suggest changing to help make them possible?
So let's take the ordinances first. I think first and foremost, like I said, to minimize the commercial signage that's advertising vacancies that are very apparent. I think when we're talking about zoning and ordinances, we can be a more forgiving city, a more forgiving community, as we are today, right? You just have to make strong arguments why the city should make a variance from the certain ordinances or the certain zoning requirements. And that's completely within our power today. You just have to have a new mindset that's actually kind of proactively looking at these things. Livonia has been a very stable and a very, very great yet very static community for a long time. I think if you went back to the 1960s and 70s, Livonia was really on the cutting edge of community recreation, neighborhood development, neighborhood engagement. And as our population did slowly get older, we lost sight of some of those things that made Livonia great initially. We need to do everything we can as a city government and as people in general, like yourselves, engaging the community around certain issues to make this a more engaging place. One of the things that I proposed early on in my candidacy is to, whether through city funds or probably more likely private resources, to create a fund for a neighborhood seed grant program that would allow neighborhoods to request to a board that we set up, something like that would give them a small amount of funds to start some kind of neighborhood project or community art project within the neighborhood. They would bring a heightened level of distinctiveness to different neighborhoods in the community here. I think some of the other candidates alluded to this, and I'll confirm it. As you're walking around the city, you turn a corner and there's 1,000 houses that you never knew existed. You have 40,000 houses in this city, and you have, 96,000 people. We need to do more to bring the engagement to those people, whether that's through the neighborhood parks, neighborhood seed grants, or just connecting them through a walking or bike path. There's a lot of things that we can do that I absolutely support doing. I just think we need to be quick to do them, but do them in a way that we are educated and informed about the long-term ramifications and the costs. The bottom line is, I think the first and foremost thing that makes Livonia a special place is we have excellent public safety, and it's extremely affordable. I can't get over the fact that we have 13.5 mills to provide all the city services that we do give to our citizens. So I'm very skeptical, and I don't even really want to venture into raising taxes or anything like that to support these things, but we can support them through a more forgiving government structure here in terms of really welcoming new developments. The one thing I'll say too, and I think we're running long, but something that was disappointing to me particularly is that we've talked about 5 in Farmington, we've talked about 7 in Farmington. If you look at 6 in Farmington, right, there was that old gas station there that was recently knocked down. Now there's a sign up there that says vacancy, there's going to be a small strip mall there. That's a perfect opportunity that we can actually utilize that space differently. We could have. I don't know if the ship sailed at this point or not. Instead of having one of these small pop-up strip malls that you're finding in communities like Redford, that for the most part, Livonia's been pretty good about holding off. We could have developed something that ran along Farmington Road and faced inwards, and then kind of could have incorporated that older structure that's there right now where the Secretary of State and Golden Jewelry is, Golden Gifts, and kind of made a little bit of a community there, right? That's the kind of thinking we need to have. It's not going to take a whole lot to actually make something like an engaging place, but maybe let's make some buildings face each other and put some grass in between them as opposed to parking. So, I mean, there's lots of possibilities, and I think we can do a lot.
So you might change the parking ordinances because we require quite a bit of parking for business.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about in terms of providing variances. And that's perfectly within City Council's ability right now. There's nothing holding them back from doing that, but you have to make a strong argument to get that done. Something that's going to help you in terms of getting that done is a master plan for the city that kind of dictates specifically that these are the kind of spaces that we want to have here in the city. And to have those spaces, these are the accommodations we need to make. Listen, I give you and everybody who's watching all the credit in the world for engaging our citizens and making this an issue, and I think going forward, I'd love to work with you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks a lot.